Today we're in Philippians 2. If you read the first part of Philippians 2, you'll see where it talks about being of one heart and one mind and one purpose there, and also humble yourselves, thinking of others is more important than yourself. If we look back in chapter 1, see verse 21, it says, to live is for Christ, and to die is to gain, or to die is even better. If we combine those two thoughts, that living is for Christ and dying is even better, and mirror that with humble yourselves, thinking of others is more important than yourselves. So we're living for Christ, but also in this world we are looking at others as more important than ourselves. That would fix a lot of our problems in our society, but more importantly in our church and in our own families, in our marriage, if we think of it that way. We can only become one with our spouse. We can only have that one ship, that oneness, when we're first one with Christ, when we acknowledge our sin and we reject that and turn to Jesus for His saving grace. So John in his gospel says, I'm praying not only for these disciples, but also those who will ever believe in me because of their testimony. That's us, that's the church. My prayer for all of them is that they will be one, just as you and I are one. Father, just as you are in me and I am in you, so they will be in us. And the world will believe you sent me, and they'll believe because of that oneness. We do a lot of infighting in the church, in our families, in our marriages. And we can't minister beyond that, because we exhaust all of our ministry inside of our marriage, inside of our family, inside of our church. So pray that you'll seek this teaching here in Philippians, especially 1 through 11 there. And if you've seen the movie Fireproof, you see that towards the end there, Caleb says, I did not know how to love you. He's talking to his wife, because I didn't know what love was. And when we read 1 John 4 verses 7 and 8 says, anyone who loves is born of God and knows God, but anyone who does not love does not know God, for God is love. So we have to know God first on a personal and deep relationship before we can truly love others. That agape love, that love from God, can only be shown to other people if we know God first, if we know God through a personal relationship in Jesus Christ. We throw that word love around. Like, I love hot dogs, I love water skiing, I love the Braves, I love the Falcons. But that agape love from God, we can show that to others. More than the phileo, the brotherly love, we can show that agape love to others when we first are in right relationship with God. First in our spouse, then with our families, and then with our church family. We need to submit. It's Ephesians tells us to submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. And submission has been defined to me before, is to submit your request, but not always having to get your way. So if we do that inside the church, inside of our home, inside of our marriage, you're going to know what my request is, but I don't always have to get my way. Society looks at submission as a point of weakness, where it is totally counter to that in the Bible. It's actually a point of strength, just like self-control. It's easy to spout off what you think. Anybody can yell back a retort to someone, but it's very difficult to exercise self-control. And the same way in submission. It's easy to just fold your hands and give a ugly look and want to get your way, but it's difficult to just submit your request, but not demanding your way, but humbling yourselves and looking towards others too. So read those verses there in chapter 2, verses 1 through 11, especially at the end there. It says, every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus is Lord. And I pray that you've done that voluntarily. When you haven't done that voluntarily, but at the end of time or at the end of your life, you'll be called to, it'll be undeniable that Jesus is Lord. And you will confess that. You'll be placed on your knee. So I pray that you do that as a believer, as I have, and as billions over through the annals of time have done, have come into that right relationship with Jesus Christ. So I pray that this short Sunday school lesson was a blessing to you.